in LA this week.
Because of the situation we're living and everybody needs to vote, I hope they do that throughout the county.
You're really limited with how much you can do, and the humor at some point just kind of gets repetitive because of the limitations of what you have.
This entire event is put on by volunteers, and all of the books that we get are donated from people in the community.
Hello everyone, I'm Rasha Goel. Here's what's happening in LA this week. September is Latino Heritage Month in Los Angeles, and with it comes El Grito, known as Mexican Independence Day. Councilwoman Monica Rodriguez spearheaded festivities that combined remembrance with fundraising for a very unique El Grito 2020.
This year is a first for El Grito. Historically, our celebrations have occurred each and every year on the steps of City Hall, but as a result of the pandemic, we have created a first-time ever telethon to help raise funds for families that have been most affected by COVID-19.
It was through the collective action of ordinary people that the extraordinary happened. We find ourselves in that very moment today, fighting a pandemic, fighting the tyranny and behaviors of efforts to suppress our community.
The El Grito de Dolores was a call to arms for Mexicans in Mexico seeking independence from Spain.
Our power is expressed in two ways this year. One, when we vote. So if you're not registered to vote, please do so now. And second, with the census, to make sure we are counted here. The history that our great-grandmothers and great-grandfathers fought for, those who came here that had the courage to cross a border but to continue the cultural ties, make sure we are counted in the census.
We were able to pull this event together and create this first-time fundraiser. But again, it's given the circumstances of what we're all living through that we've adapted to help make sure that this moment doesn't get missed.
Viva Mexico! We go from one annual event gone fundraiser to another annual fundraiser that struggles to move forward despite the cancellation of its biggest event this year. The Widows, Orphans, and Disabled Firefighters Fund has been supporting first responders and their families for more than a century, and they need our support now more than ever.
Widows, Orphans, and Disabled Firefighters Fund is an organization from the Los Angeles Firefighters Relief Association. It's an organization of firefighters helping other firefighters. Established over 100 years ago, where oftentimes, even back in the day where a firefighter was injured on the job, even the injury benefits didn't cover the medical expenses. So firefighters came together to develop this organization to offset those costs. We developed our own medical plan. We develop mechanisms for advancements and assistance financially for our firefighters. And probably most importantly, it's taking care of our widows and orphans. If a firefighter is killed in the line of duty or from a duty-related death or injury, even something such as cancer that takes a period of time to develop, this organization is there for those families. In California alone, we have over 500 widows. What we try to do is care for them. Often Medi-Cal or Medicare or Social Security doesn't meet the needs. And that's where we step up and assist them. And even to this day, we still continue to help the widows and orphans. Where we follow up, we still keep them on our medical plan. We don't just kick them out because the primary holder as deceased. That's our Hope for Firefighters event, and I have to admit that is one of my favorite events that we do every year. If you're there just to eat, that's okay too, because it's phenomenal food. This is that organization that is there for those firefighters and their families who have, in essence, some of them have paid the ultimate price and the ultimate sacrifice to save a life, to save somebody's property. People have seen the legitimacy of our organization and they want to come forward and help our firefighters. If you go to givetoahero.org, you can click on Donate Now, and that takes you right to our link, and you're able to make a donation there.
The Urban Dictionary defines the word homeboy as the epitome of friend, someone who has your back. Well, what began as a door-to-door campaign to get youth employment has now become Homeboy Industries. It only took 30 plus years. I'm delighted to actually welcome the founder of Homeboy Industries, Father Greg Wolf.
I arrived in '86, so the first 2 years it really had other issues like immigration principally, and people were being deported, and so that was an issue for our community. We started a school, then we started a jobs program, and we just kind of started to, and that was the decade of death, which was '88 to '98, when sometimes I was bearing 8 kids in a 3-week period. It was horrific, and shootings morning, noon, and night. So it was a hard issue to just ignore and have mass on Sunday. So we kept responding to things, and we've backed our way into becoming now the largest gang intervention rehab reentry program on the planet.
Has COVID messed with the program? Has it kind of made you have to readjust what you're able to do?
Oh yeah, totally. I mean, but we pivoted early on with the bakery and the cafe. We've taken homies from other social enterprises that aren't operative right now, like our diner at City Hall is closed. And so we take them and they're delivering meals to homeless and seniors and shut-ins as part of our way of addressing food insecurity in the county.
Wonderful news. The 2020 Conrad Hilton Humanitarian Award has been bequeathed to Homeboy Industries. It's $2.5 million, unrestricted funds. Is that a game changer for Homeboy?
Yeah, I know it's a game changer because it supports our programming, of course, in an unrestricted way, but allows us to think about transitional housing, permanent housing, moving beyond and meeting the needs that present themselves.
So ITA is so excited about the Get Connected Los Angeles website. This is where everyone can go to find information about low-cost internet, as well as devices, as well as digital literacy tools if needed.
We are now really experiencing a digital desert in our public housing communities. COVID-19 has really amplified this issue.
We actually partnered with the Housing Authority of the City of Los Angeles, starting with their Mar Vista Gardens community, with a focus on the students there.
This pilot program with Starry at Mar Vista Gardens offers low-cost internet, 5G, high speeds at very affordable rates.
We actually committed to not discontinue any subscribers who were unable to pay their monthly subscriber fees due to hardships from the crisis.
Digital inclusion is so important, I think, even especially right now. It's actually really important that everybody has kind of like that same opportunity.
Internet connectivity is much like a utility these days, just like running water, electricity. It's a vibrant piece of how we live, especially for our students.
We partnered to provide 120,000 students with internet access who did not have any access at no cost to the students, with families who could not otherwise afford it.
Being connected is just part of everyday life these days, especially in this time of COVID-19. When people are applying for jobs, they're doing it online. The way people are accessing their doctors are through telehealth. Also, for those who are running businesses, they also need connectivity So it's important to make sure that everyone has access.
Almost every aspect of your day-to-day life, right, has been digitized. So without affordable internet, it's more and more difficult to participate in kind of this global economy that's tied together via the internet. Get connected, Los Angeles.
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 2020 has been a year of improvisation. We have found new ways of shopping, of working from home. Even the way we socialize has been reinvented to a degree. And since this is also an election year, the city of Los Angeles is making a big move to expand how we can cast our ballots with confidence.
We installed these boxes to make it easier for the public to come and vote instead for the mailing.
Because of the situation we're living and everybody needs to vote, and there's obviously they put a mailbox here for voting. That's the city of Los Angeles. I hope they do that throughout the county.
I think it's just to make it easier access for people to put in their votes. Just gives them a faster way of doing stuff without having to come in contact with people.
Es muy resistente, es muy seguro. Tenemos 3 candados, uno para poner el voto en esta cajita, y más aparte tenemos 2 llaves para que la gente no vaya a tratar de abrirlo. Yo pienso que es muy bien para la gente que quiere venir cuando vaya a votar, venir a las librerías. Estamos poniéndolas en todo California, todo el sur de California, para que sea más práctico para la gente. So, vengan y voten, pongan su voto aquí, que va a estar seguro.
Angelenos have relied heavily on frontliners and first responders as the COVID-19 pandemic persists. But for many, there has also been a realization that the best preparation for an emergency is training and self-reliance. One community in Council District 10 is taking that message to heart and taking action.
It's as much to keep yourselves also from becoming a victim.
Walking aimlessly with a broken arm.
They're just going to have to shelter in place.
Minor bleeding control,
Okay.
which was taken care of. Other than that, he's okay with the pen sticking out.
You know, missing an arm, you're going to have to triage and report that in.
Yeah, you can stop the bleeding, but it goes from maybe a delayed to an immediate, depending on the type of blood former you see coming from the body.
Remember, when you're approaching the house, you're looking for damage, you're looking for smell of gas, you're looking for all these official things right off the top.
Severed leg, left leg, bleeding control, in severe pain.
You've got people who are there with them right now.
Lacerations to face and arm.
The idea is to get all of your opinions on what this experience meant to you today on so many levels.
And I saw the dummies. I stopped and I went up like it was a real person. I checked the pulse, just to get me in the mode.
LACCD opts out of opening campuses. LA Represents is offering legal aid. And Metro Bike offers a discount for September. These stories up next on City Beat.
Due to the continuing efforts to decrease the cases of COVID-19, the Los Angeles Community College District will continue online for the rest of the academic year. A few exceptions will be in place for students taking courses such as certified nurse assistants and electricians. The decision not to reopen the campus mainly affects students of low income and students of color who make up the majority of the college students in the district and rely on the campus for food, healthcare, and other supportive services. The campus will remain closed until at least summer 2021. September is Bike Month, and Metro is presenting a deal that's hard to pass up. 30 days for $1. Cruise along the city and enjoy not only the sights but the knowledge of how little it costs to do so. Access low-cost transportation from a fleet of about 1,400 bikes and includes 93 stations in downtown Los Angeles, Venice, and the Port of Los Angeles. Check out bikeshare.metro.net to sign up for the 30-day pass and be sure to use the promo code RIDESEPTEMBER. Hardships have been abundant during the pandemic, but the City of LA is here to help. Mayor Eric Garcetti and LA City Attorney Mike Fewer have joined forces to present LA Represents, a pro bono initiative to provide free legal services. LA Represents, a coalition of law firms, bar associations, and attorneys, will provide COVID-19 related legal services, including helping tenants, domestic violence victims, and low-income individuals with employment, consumer debt, and bankruptcy matters. To find out how the city can help you, visit coronavirus.lacity.org/LA Represents.
A few weeks ago, we introduced you to Radical Cram School, a web series that spoke directly to young kids about issues of social and racial inequality. This week, we had the opportunity to talk to Benedict Coulter, a young adult author who is also trying to inform and empower kids about the timely issue of dealing with COVID-19.
Wearing a mask does make a difference. It's a great way to fight that virus and making sure it doesn't grow.
I have 3 kids. They're teenagers now, but I certainly had the experience with kids that it's, to try to make them do something that they don't like to do or don't understand why they have to do it. It's so challenging for parents. As this started to really spread around the country, I felt that it was kind of important to try to explain to kids what was going on, because even as parents, we were kind of thrown in a loop of all the things that were happening. I was compelled to write the book by a mom who was really desperate to make her son understand why he needed to wear a mask. I had friends who had younger kids who said, the kids just don't really quite understand what's going on. And I thought, what I'm going to do, I'm going to do the same thing as I've been doing with all the other books.
Wash your hands with soap and water and count to 10 before you stop.
As far as the content, I always try to put myself in the child's perspective and make it as simple as possible. I've made it free. I've made the other 2 books that I've recently written free also. I think the message is more important than anything.
Among the myriad of events canceled or postponed because of the pandemic, the annual book sale from the Westchester Rotary Book Club has survived. The event was derailed for the spring, but found new footing over the Labor Day weekend. Channel 35 was there to cover this annual South Bay fundraiser.
We have an annual book sale that is normally over Memorial Day weekend that because of COVID we weren't able to do this year, so we did it over Labor Day. This entire event is put on by volunteers, and all of the books that we get are donated from people in the community.
I'm trying to build my own personal library, and this is a good way to do it. Here I can get a bag of books for a good price and support a good cause.
We have 47 different categories of books, ranging from paperback fiction, hardback fiction, art, architecture. It runs a whole gamut from A to Z. It is regularly considered one of the best nonprofit community events of the year. So we're proud of this event and what we do for the community.
It's good because for the opportunity to get some interaction with people and to get some material to feed your mind. We got all these restaurants feeding our bodies. We need something to feed our mind too.
We thank the Westchester community and really the local South Bay community for supporting us for the last 65 years. And we look forward to this event and to continuing to raise funds to support the community.
Okay, so the food pantries are keeping folks fed. Hand sanitizer can easily be found in every drugstore, and many of us have finally worked out working from home. But who's looking after the folks that give us our daily dose of funny? We asked that question of Tmi Hollywood, a local comedy troupe that has taken their live show online.
Tmi Hollywood is a sketch comedy show that I created back in 2012. Our original idea was to kind of be something like Saturday Night Live mixed with TMZ, mixed with, I guess, The Daily Show. You know, and the great thing about doing the live show is that the minute you commit to it for the year, you're looking at 25 original shows during the course of that year. And for those 25 weeks, the process starts on Monday morning and it ends at 10 o'clock on Sunday night. Our last show was on March 15th. And the whole week leading up to it, we kept hearing about how the virus was getting worse and how at any point in time we might go into some kind of shutdown. And during the course of that week, I think we almost canceled the show 3 or 4 different times. And as the week progressed, more and more people in the cast kept dropping out, you know, for good reasons. And so at the end of the show, I just written in at the very last second to for one of our actors to say, we're going to take a couple of weeks off until everything kind of gets worked out. Hopefully we'll see you back here in about 2 or 3 weeks. So what happened was when we realized that we weren't going to be coming back and it wasn't going to be a week or two, late in the first week, I said, well, we got to do something. And my first thought was to just do a lot of Zoom sketches. And we started doing some of that stuff and it seemed like it was going to be fine. But again, like anything else, you're really limited with how much you can do. And the humor at some point just kind of gets repetitive because of the limitations of what you have. I said, well, why don't we just stick a bunch of our actors and some of our writers on screen, and instead of trying to be funny, why don't we talk about what's going on in our lives right now? Now, because we're doing it in this format where we're asking people to come on for little chunks of time, maybe it's 20 minutes, a half hour, we're getting these amazing guests that are really just fascinating to talk to. I've had a civil rights activist, Tmi Hollywood. She was marching with Jesse Jackson in the 60s and is a major civil rights figure in Chicago to this day. And so having the ability to do this show, we kind of get into insight that we never did before, because obviously when we're doing a live theater show, we're kind of sticking to a script and we're just trying to do the words that are on the page. And that's great. And it's something I adore doing. But, you know, I'm learning so much about people that I didn't know, learning about.
This exhibit was our way of just marking the important day of August 28, 1963. It was also our way to give homage to the many men and women and children who lost their lives in the civil rights movement. Those who fought for us, those who died for us, and those who struggled. This is just our way of just taking time to pause and reflect on what that march meant, on what the civil rights movement meant. It meant the Civil Rights Act taking place. It meant that there was more freedom for us today. We stand on the shoulders of so many men and women who gave their lives and who fought for us. And so we did not have the opportunity that so many people could go to the March on Washington this year, that we wanted to provide some education, and we wanted a place where people could come and just pause, say thank you, and reflect on the sacrifice and on the struggle that has taken place in this country.
Over the years, as all this, police brutality, people dying, people killing, I realized this exhibit is to help people know that, this did happen and there needs to be some type of change. There's definitely a problem in America, and we're trying to really solve it and reach it. And this exhibit, you know, tells the story and shows that this actually happened. I think this exhibit is very powerful, and I think it's very helpful, and it challenges the problem and injustice.
Awareness and education of history is very important in order to progress and move forward and make the future better. And in the climate of the social injustices that we see today, I think something like this is extremely important for all people to see.
This exhibit is also about the many men and women who have lost their lives to police brutality in this country. We have seen far too many Black and brown young people, men and women, to lose their lives. And so we've got to make sure that Black lives matter, that all lives matter in this country. And so this exhibit also takes time where you'll be able to see individuals, unfortunately, who have lost their lives. We need full justice for all, and we need to make sure that people understand that Black lives matter in this country and around the world. We still have work to do. So this exhibit was sponsored by the Black Hollywood Education and Resource Center. And this was our way to pay tribute and homage to individuals who marched, to say thanks and to remember justice and freedom, which still has not been realized here in our country yet.
Virtual concerts mean Music Mondays in September. Read up with the Los Angeles Libro Festival, and the Autry opens its Best of LA archives. All this up next on Virtual Things to Do.
Be sure to check out the Autry Presents The Best of Los Angeles. Live music and museums come together during this video series. The Autry presents cinematic, acoustic performances by some of LA's best musical artists, all filmed live on location in the Autry's galleries. Performances will be released online every other week. Treat yourself and check out the Autry Presents The Best of Los Angeles, available to enjoy now through December 2020. For more information on upcoming performances, visit theautry.org/bestofla. Have your next great literary experience online. Los Angeles Libros Festival is a free bilingual book festival for the whole family. Celebrating heritage, the festival will feature storytelling, musical performances, local and international authors, art workshops, books, and more. The 2020 Los Angeles Libros Festival will take place virtually on Facebook and YouTube beginning on Saturday, September 26th. The Japan Foundation Los Angeles presents Music Mondays, Cheer Up with Virtual Concert. The JFLA promotes international awareness and mutual understanding between Japan and the U.S. through cultural exchange. Beginning in September, JFLA will be presenting live music performances via Facebook Live every Monday. Join talented performers like Gary Matsumoto and Kai Kurosawa, who will play a carefully curated repertoire dedicated especially to you, their audience. Don't miss Music Mondays, Cheer Up with Virtual Concert. You can find out more at their listing on Eventbrite. And that's a look at some virtual things to do.
That's it for this edition. I'm Rasha Goel. From all of us here at LA This Week, thank you for joining us. A reminder that you can catch us online at lacityview.org. And we're also on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. See you next time for more LA This Week.